I do want to mention the National Black Book Festival again is going to be October 23rd and 24th. It's going to be virtual. And it's going to be all day on both days. It's going to be free, stream live on Facebook on the same Facebook page where you're watching this show. And it's no registration required. It's going to be completely open to the public. You can watch all of it, part of it, whatever inspires you or whatever interests you. And the guest that we're having now coming up, Curly West, is actually one of the participating authors for this year's festival. So she's going to be on Friday. I don't have the exact time when she's going to be on. She may know the exact time, but she'll be being interviewed there as well about her book. So Curly, can you unmute your, thank you so much. And welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you for having me.
Now, is Curly your given name or a nickname?
Curly's my given name. I was named after my grandmother.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know if I ever met a Curly. I thought it was a pen name. You just never know. So tell us a little bit about your, you have a book, Broken Vows, and then you have a sequel, and you said you thought your sequel might be done by the time of the show. But just tell us about your book.
Okay, well, Broken Vows is centered around one main character, but it's three other characters that go along with the storyline. And Broken Vows, of course, it kind of names itself. You kind of know what the story is about. But she's a shy person, the main character in the book, and she finds love later on in life. And when she does, everything is just perfect. And she's just head over heels and everything is perfect. And then her perfect world is turned upside down. And that's when total chaos happens and one bad decision after another happens. And she tries to get revenge to make things right, but that only made things worse. So that story ended up ending badly. So the second book, which is published now, which is Mending a Broken Heart, that's the sequel to Broken Vows. And in the Broken Vows, you find out about the main character, why she's like she is, and the things that she went through. But in the sequel, you find out about the other characters and the bad choices that she made with these characters, with one in particular. I don't want to give away too much of the story, but you get the rest of the story in book 2. And so the way I left book 2, I left it where it's possible that could be the end of the story and I could write another book going on. And the ones that have read Mending a Broken Heart, they're waiting on book 3. So I've had a lot of good reviews from it.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's always good to have reader feedback, to really know how you're impacting your readers. So I'm guessing has that kind of helped you in what you're doing next when it comes to writing?
Yes, it's been a learning experience for me. Broken Vows was the first book that I actually published. I've written a lot of things and a lot of stories over the years, poems, songs. I'm always writing. It's therapeutic. It's a passion of mine. I just love doing it. And at the suggestion of my husband, Dwayne, he was like, well, why don't you do something with all those stories you've been writing? So that's kind of where I've gotten to where I was, and I've gotten good feedback.
Yes.
Yeah, and the readers were like, well, we're waiting on the next part. So, and they were kind of like that with Broken Vows. They were like, well, when is the second book coming out? And COVID, I appreciate you all having this platform. This has been a great way to, put your book out there. And I appreciate that. But I'm getting, like I said, the learning experience and getting all the positive feedback. It's just been totally great for me.
Now, you said you wanted to inspire others to put aside excuses and procrastination when it comes to either writing a book or achieving any goal. You want to talk about some of that in terms of inspiring other people?
Well, yes, that fear was what stopped me from doing a lot of things that I wanted to do in life. And just come to that decision. It's just time to put fear aside. I mean, without works is dead. I can want to be the best seller, but if I don't actually put the work into it, nothing's gonna happen. So I'm just now, what better time than to go after your dream than the now? No more excuses. I mean, I want my children to know too. You know, you can make your dreams come true. You just have to put forth that faith and put forth that first step, and everything will fall into line. And it's going to be some good and some bad, but you can't focus on that. You know, no more excuses. I had to get out of my comfort zone. I was fine with just writing and not doing anything with it. But how will I ever know I would succeed if I don't try? So that's one thing. No more excuses. There's no time like the present.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because there are people out there who feel like when you start to work towards something that you're not having faith, they're feeling like, okay, well, I need to just let God do this for me, but we're not taking the steps to make it happen. And it's just like you said, that faith without works is dead. We can't put all the work in and leave God out of it. But at the same time, we can't just depend on God to do it all for us, and then we're not taking those steps as well.
Yes. And that's why I was excited when I found out about your platform. And I was disappointed when we couldn't meet in person, but I was just so thankful when the opportunity came to do it virtual. And I'm like, there you go. So really, there it goes. It just proves itself. There's no time like the present, no more excuses. I mean, we can do it virtual now. So it's still a way to make those dreams happen. You just gotta want it and do it.
Yeah, I've always felt like people who, and I have to say this because people can so easily be offended, but people who just say, well, I'm just going to leave it, you know, I'm just going to pray and then, you know, see what God does. To me, that's being lazy, really, you know, come on. Yeah, God is not going to just perform a miracle when you are not you don't have any skin in the game yourself. Right. You don't care enough about it to give it 100%. That's when God kicks in, when you give your 100% and you've given everything you can, then God will perform a miracle. I can't tell you how many, it's been so many miracles performed in things that I've done in life, but it was because I just was relentless. You know, one of my most recent successes is getting my daughter through undergraduate school with no debt at an out-of-state school. And people just wonder how, they think there must have been some hookup or some secret sauce. No, it was just work. It was really obsession, relentless, just commitment, just wouldn't quit. That's when God kicks in. And then all kinds of things start happening but the things can't happen until you set the table. It's like having dinner. You have to set the table, and then your protein shows up. So anyway, I when people say they want something, that they want to do something, but they just have a bunch of excuses, like you say. I just tell them, you're not serious. If you're not willing to give it 100%, whatever it is, it can be whatever. You're not serious. So just, and it, like, even if you're looking for an investor, like, investors are looking for people who give 100%. They're not looking for lazy people. They're not looking for people.
Publishers.
Right. Publishers.
They see that you have actually put the work in.
You're right. I tell people, people say, I'm looking for an agent so I can get a book deal. Okay, an agent is looking for somebody who's willing to hustle, because an agent doesn't get paid unless they get you a book deal, and they can't get you a book deal if you don't hustle and you show some kind of success yourself. You were able to get a following. You've been there. Now is social media. Is if what have you been able to do as far as a platform on social media, or how many books have you sold if you self-published? That's what they're looking for. They're looking for results. Not they're just not looking to just give people advance checks. That's not the way it works. That's not the way any of this works. So anyway, anyway, Curly, I wasn't trying to take. I just wanted to emphasize that with people. If you need to give 100%, and whatever it is,
And you're showing an example of how that works.
you are.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You are. So tell us about the characters in Broken Vows. Who's your main character in there? And then does that main character continue in the sequel?
Yes, Shayna is the main character in Broken Vows. And yes, she continues on into the sequel. And she has one main friend in Broken Vows, and her story continues on also into the sequel. So I wrote it where I wanted you to kind of fall in love with the characters. And Desmond is a character in the book, and also Ezekiel is a character in the book. And I wanted you to love them. I wanted you to find out different things about them. And I wanted you to kind of be like thinking, well, this is going to happen next. But then I threw a loop in there, and then it didn't happen like you thought it was going to happen. So it's some crying in there. It's some laughter. And then the second book, it briefs you back on the first book. And then it kind of takes you on into a different storyline. So the second book is kind of filled with a lot of twists and turns. And just when you think you figured it out, it takes another direction. So I wanted to keep the reader interested in what was going to happen next.
Okay,
And
plot twist. Plot twist.
yeah, I just wanted to keep your interest going. And that was another reason why I kept the story short. I wanted to grab your attention. I wanted you to be wanting more. And then it was just like, boom. And then it was like, what's going to happen next?
Okay. So is your background in writing, what made you decide to write a novel? The first one, what was the impetus for you writing Broken Vows?
The emphasis for me writing Broken Vows was getting out of my comfort zone. I wanted to do something fiction. And like I said, that's just kind of out of my comfort zone. I love fiction books though. And I said, I just want to do something different. And the story just kept flowing and flowing. And that book has been written for some years, and it's just been sitting there. And when thoughts come to me, I just start writing them down. So I just started putting the bits and the pieces together and finding out where they would fit better. And then everything just kind of flowed. So when I published when I had Broken Vows published, I had already started writing the second book to it, and then I just kind of was adding things on to it here and there. And then I was like, I think I've done enough here. I'm going to, like I said, throw that twist and turn in there. And then I'm just going to leave it right here for right now. So it's been an exciting journey for me. I've been writing as far back as I can remember. That's why I always say all my life, I've been writing poems and songs and always writing things down. And I hate that I can't find a lot of stuff like I wrote in my younger years. But now I have all these journals and notes and things on flash drives and on the computer. And so now, yeah. So it's just exciting
for to me that you said that you held on to it for so long. And I know part of that was probably fear of the unknown, but what helped you to break that fear? Was it just your husband saying you should publish this? What was it that said, okay, I need to get past this now?
Yes, he had a big influence on me. He's always motivated me to do better and always to do my best. And I'm one of those persons, well, if it's good enough, I'm good with just writing in my little journal. What if it fails? And I just had to I'm like, you know what? It's time aside for that. how will I ever know if I'm going to do something if I don't do it? And so you can run around quoting scriptures all day if you just don't do anything with it. I mean, so it was just time out for excuses. So I said, I'm just going to put that faith into work and trust God to make it happen. So, and I said, even if it didn't happen, I said it wasn't his will, you know, but at least I tried.
Amen. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Now you were situation. Well, it's very common that first books might take years because people hold on to them. Joan said the same thing that our previous guest who was just on said she held on to her first book for 14 years before she published it. And I guess is part of it is not knowing if it will be well received, like if what you're going to do, if it will be received by the public, like readers. And people don't realize when you put your work out there, you are really giving people the authority to criticize you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not an easy thing to accept. I mean, that's it can be difficult. I know I still my books have almost all of them have 5 stars or at least 4.5. But when I get an occasional 3-star review on something that really, I hate it because it brings the average down, you know. And especially if it's for a stupid reason, or the person will say, I really like the book, and they like the book, then they give you a 3. I'm like, what? Why? You know, so you really you're putting yourself out there for the public to criticize your work, critique. And what critique really means is criticize. This is, you know, and some people can be cruel. I haven't really had any really bad reviews. I got a 1 star on one of my books, my one novel, because I used the N-word 3/4 of the way into the book. So you had to read 3/4 of the book before you even saw the word. Okay. It was part of a dialogue of my main character, who was a very racist man. So it wasn't out of character for him to use it. But the person who wrote the review said it was unnecessary. Okay, well, and then she gave me a 1 star, which means she got 3/4 of the way through the book and quit because of the M-word. Like, who's that sensitive?
I got a 1 star from somebody, and I was like, who gave me 1 star? And I decided to look at the other reviews the person had written.
Yeah.
She gave everybody 1 star.
Yeah,
everybody
some people are just like, why? Okay, why? Who does that?
Yeah, so don't ever let a bad review or a 1 star get you done. You just keep doing what you're doing, because half the time people who give 1 star, it's not that they didn't like the book. They might have had other things going on in their lives, or maybe they're upset about something, or maybe you triggered them in a certain way. My last book, I turned it into a stage play, and there were some people who walked out of the play, not because they didn't like the play, but because it triggered them in a way, and they had to kind of separate themselves. And I didn't find that out until later, but that could have gotten me down when I saw them walk out, and I had to find out later. Okay, oh, that triggers somebody, which tells me that my actors were doing a good job.
Yeah, that's true. But I agree with you about not making excuses and just being determined to achieve a goal. Mm-hmm. Now, what are some of the things that you've done when you write your books where you can to keep on track to finish?
Well, it's mostly just being consistent. I know I love writing, and in order to get a book to publish, you have to continue to do it regardless. And so when those thoughts and all, when they come to your mind, you just need to get them down and get them on paper. And eventually everything just keeps flowing. And you just have to have your made up mind, because criticism, like you said, will come. I've been criticized. And when you have your mind made up and you're determined to reach that goal, you're not going to let anything stop you, because people are entitled to their opinions about you.
Absolutely.
And that was one reason why I kind of didn't want to, because you are putting yourself out there for everybody. So that's why I said this was perfect for me to get out of my comfort zone. And regardless of what you're going to do, it's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you or have an ill word for you. And you can't let those things get to you, because it may not be you. It may be something going on with them at that time. Like you said, it may have nothing to do with you. So either you're going to do it or you're not, because you will be criticized regardless of what happens. And like I said, you can find a room full of 1,000 people. It'll be one person in there that doesn't like you. And
You're
so
right.
no matter what you do or what you say, it's not going to change their opinion about you. You can just do what you're supposed to do and just keep it moving. And as far as the negative, I always think about what one of my good friends, she always says, people are always going to talk, and they just have a great conversation topic to talk about. When they talk about it.
There you go.
And then the next day they're on to the next thing. So you just have to have your made up mind to do what you're going to do. And I would just say, just stay consistent. Just always doing something to better yourself. And like this platform, this is something we can say, well, I'm not going to do anything because we don't have a conference to go to in person, but you're doing it virtually. So I can't use that excuse. So it's opportunities out there. You just got to be willing to take them and let the bad things go behind you. Don't let fear rule you. You just have to take it and keep it moving.
You do have a comment here from a Diane Franks. She said, in all things acknowledge him and he will direct your path.
Oh, I love that scripture. That is so true.
That is. So what do you have after this second book, which is a sequel to the first, to the Broken Vows, are you planning to continue on, or do you know yet? Have you decided yet?
Yes, I've already started writing on some other things. I don't know if I'm gonna do a sequel to Mending a Broken Heart. I very well possibly could. I just don't have the answer for that right now, but I'm definitely not gonna stop writing and not gonna stop promoting, regardless of what. I'm gonna continue to do it. And one thing is, you was talking about social media. When I first started, I wasn't as active as I was, but you have to constantly engage that audience. You have to give them something to keep coming back to. So you need to constantly reach out to those followers. You need to constantly do something and interact with them, or if you're just putting a quote or just asking a question, it's just different things you can do, but you got to engage the audience. You want to keep them interested in you, in the books you're writing.
You're right about that. So tell us a little bit more about how you, did you self-publish both of your books?
No, I used Parsons Porch to publish both books. And it was just easier for me at the time. And they made it very easy for me in submitting and everything, and the proofing process and all. And it was just easier for me to go through them. My sister had published a book through them as well. And so I was kind of familiar with them, and I just said, well, I'm going to try it. So I said, no more excuses. I just tried it, and they approved the book.
That's your
and
mantra.
it went from there.
I haven't heard of them. Have you heard of them, Rhonda? Parsons Porch?
No, I don't think I have.
I haven't heard of them. Are they a local company, or are they online?
They're in Tennessee.
Oh, okay. And what do they do? I hadn't. So do they take your book? Do they buy the rights, or do you keep the rights?
I have so many, but I have to publish. I have to sell so many books in order to break even, and then after that point, the royalties and all of that. It goes like that. But
you get to retain rights to your book, though.
Yes, yeah. But I have to sell so many, because if I don't at that time, then that comes into the cost factor of it. So it's very important that you keep selling. And I hadn't had any trouble with them so far, even with the COVID. My second book, it came right on. So I've been pleased with them.
Okay, so do they design your cover? Did you do your own cover? What do they, what all did they do for you?
They did everything. They designed my own cover.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought I had heard of everybody. But that's a new one. I didn't know about Parsons Porch. So
Yeah.
then you submit like the file, and then they edit the book, and then they do the cover design, and then
well, they have to approve it first. So you go through that approval process, and you wait to see if they'll approve it for publishing.
Oh, okay. So they're not just like print on demand where it's not any approval. No. They're just printing.
Right.
This is the actual publisher.
Yes.
What's your website so we can show people, we can point people toward getting more of your books?
Okay, I have my sign here. It's curlywestauthor.org.
Okay.
curlywestauthor.org. Okay, so I'll put that in the chat for people who want to come and support you. And we do need to support this author. So everybody get out there and get this book.
Thank you.
And you are on social media. Are you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you just on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram.
Okay, awesome. It's Curly West. Is that what people look like? Okay. All right. Well, Curly, Bonnie Hopkins commented that we have had great guests tonight, and it's a great show. And Bonnie is an author of several books. We're going to have her on sometime in the future. She doesn't even know it, but she's watching. Bonnie, we're going to have you on sometime. I just haven't set a date. But Bonnie does the seminar at the book festival every year called Bringing Out the Book in You. And it's for aspiring authors. So she normally does it in person when we have the in-person event, but she's going to be doing it virtually Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. So if you all, any aspiring authors out there, if you want to learn more about that, then that seminar is Saturday at 10 a.m. So, and now Curly, what time on Friday are you going to be on the at the book festival? What is your time slot? Do you know offhand? Because I don't have that. I don't have the schedule right here in front of me right now.
I think it's 7:15. In
the evening?
Yes.
In one of the evening. Okay, yeah, because we're not starting until 9 in the morning. So, but just go on.
7:15 in the morning now.
No, oh no. No. You know, this year,
I would come on.
You would come, but you know this. So normally when it's in person, I get no sleep and I have to be like down there moving, helping to move tables and set up and all that. I don't have to do that this year. I just have to make sure that I have some coffee and water so I can be perky, because I will be on most of the day. But Rhonda we'll be doing some interchanging of interviewing people during the festival. So, but it should be great. I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting. So anyway, Curly's going to be with us then, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks at the festival. And until then, all the success with your books, and I hope you sell tons of them.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.